We could be non-league, we could be Sunday League, and the derby would always be huge.
What's really exciting about this is it feels, again, like it's a game that matters.
I don't think the Manchester derby has had this much coverage since I've been alive.
I think both teams have come out the traps flying this season and really hit the ground running.
The results have been damn near perfect. You can't ask for anything more than 5 wins out of 5. In fact, Pep's the first City manager to ever do that.
The team just seems so much more composed than it has been for many years. A lot of players are sort of benefiting. The likes of John Stones, Nicolas Otamendi have really taken to this new system well.
The difference in City's win at Stoke this season compared to the performance last season was huge.
The team collectively ran 10 miles further in that game than they did last season in the corresponding fixture.
Guardiola's obviously got that team clicking very quickly as well, like Mourinho has with United.
The take on City for me this season, really, I think much like ourselves, they've not been really tested yet.
After 3 games, I reckon the performances, they haven't been spectacular, but they've been professional and we win. And that's what a Jose Mourinho side does. We win. We've scored 6 goals in 3 games. Us being negative under Mourinho, I don't really think that's going to be the case this year.
United fans expect an attacking brand of football. It's one of the reasons why they didn't get on with Louis van Gaal. He came in and brought a very suffocating approach to football. 4-4-2 is something that has become synonymous with United. Mourinho hasn't brought that back, but he has brought a bit more adventure.
Ibrahimovic has been a huge signing for them so far. You know, you watch United when he plays, and every time the ball goes in the box, you think it's going to end up in the net.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic is the person who gives us a 1-0 lead in the tunnel.
If Jose Mourinho wasn't manager of Manchester United, we wouldn't have got Zlatan. It's ridiculous to think we've broken the world record for a player. We've signed one of the best strikers in Europe, as well as the player of the year for the German league last season, without the promise of Champions League football.
I think United fans are impressed with the business Mourinho's done. I think they're also quietly impressed with what City have done this summer as well. They've brought in some very good players. I think there's a little bit of concern perhaps that City also look quite good as well.
John Stones has come in and looked fantastic. Nolito, who was probably the most underwhelming summer signing, has looked very, very good. I mean, Gundogan was his first signing. I think Guardiola sees him as absolutely key to everything he wants to do. The Joe Hart decision has actually divided the fan base a little bit.
Is that the right thing to do? Is Joe Hart such a bad goalkeeper? Is Claudio Bravo such a great goalkeeper that it's worth making that enemy with the fans?
The decision with Hart is brave. Now, will that work out? Hopefully not.
There's no way in the world Caballero is a better goalkeeper than Joe Hart, and playing Willy Caballero to me felt like something of a message to the board. If you don't sort of go out and get the goalkeeper that I want, we're going to be stuck with this guy. He knows the under-13s, under-14s, under-15s inside out and did do before he came, and knows everything there is to know about every sort of level of the academy. So there's no way it was a case of a late decision, oh, Joe Hart isn't the goalkeeper I want, because I've had a look at him in pre-season. I think he knew way before.
There were times under Sir Alex Ferguson when you saw away teams turn up just hoping to get away with a 2-0 defeat. That had gone really under David Moyes and Van Gaal.
The aura around United now is one with a winning mentality.
At Hull last week, he was able to bring Henrik Mkhitaryan on, and he was able to bring Marcus Rashford on, and those 2 lads came on and changed the game. And, last-minute winners are something that we associate with United. They won that Champions League final in famous circumstances with 2 late goals, and it is something that's been missing recently. To bring on 2 lads who changed the game and won the game with a really late winner kind of reassures United fans that Mourinho understands the club a bit better than perhaps Van Gaal did and David Moyes did.
Mourinho's come in and just stuck his chest out like he did at Chelsea, like he did at Madrid, at Inter, and made the place his own. And you can see it already in how the players are carrying themselves. They're not scared anymore.
There was a negative aura around Manchester United. Some of the players have brought the spark, and that makes the fans stand up. I'm telling you from experience, because when something happens on the pitch, instantly it gets a response. The fans' reactions feed onto the pitch, and it's created this mad atmosphere around Manchester United right now. I feel like everybody thinks they're going to win something.
We spoke to Wayne Rooney after the Hull game, and he said that was one of the things that he noticed the most, that even at half-time in a testimonial against Everton, that didn't really matter. Mourinho was stood up in the dressing room saying, we need to win this game.
I think he's created that siege mentality already, which Ferguson used to really do well with.
He's come in and made the players feel like they wanted. Marouane Fellaini's one that the United fans were getting on his back a little bit. He's made a phone call to Marouane in the summer and reassured him that he's got a place at Old Trafford, and it's paid off.
He makes people, the average player, and Fellaini is an average player, but he makes the average player feel like, I can be a dominator.
He looks transformed. He looks like the player that was bombing through defences when he was at Everton. I think like Sterling and Pep over on the other side of town, it has been a big change, but just something as simple as saying, I believe in you.
Guardiola's turned the form of a couple of players around. Sterling is the big one.
He was a player that at the end of last season was shot of confidence. He had a terrible Euros. The British press were out for him.
He switched him to the right-hand side. He said he wanted to see him going down the outside, attacking the byline, and you've seen a completely different player.
He has been one of the single most destructive players in the Premier League this season.
If there's any doubt about Pep Guardiola being the best manager in the world, I think the proof is the fact that he's turned Alexander Kolarov from a player who was certain to leave the club in the summer, was a liability at left back, into a very consistent looking, very composed looking, very domineering looking centre back.
I spoke to Gael Clichy in Gothenburg, who was just, he said he'd never experienced anything like it, and after sort of 3 weeks working with him, knew he was the best manager he'd ever worked with. It's such a different atmosphere, and you know, the guy at the front of the room now is just full of ideas, full of enthusiasm, and I think that's been sort of rubbing off on the players on the training ground as well. I think the first derby is important from perhaps a psychological perspective. I think the pressure's on United more than it is City, because they're at home.
The derby won't decide the season, it's far too early in the season, but it is a chance to lay down a marker.
Both teams have had 100% winning starts. If they can go to Old Trafford in the next game and not lose, then I'd say it's advantage City.
The fact that we're playing them this early in the season is a benefit to us. Aguero ain't going to be there.
As a Stretford ender, you want him to approach it, attack, go for him, go for the throw, and I think there will be an element of that, but he won't want to risk it. He won't want to risk getting his backside spanked by Pep in his own house.
A City win at Old Trafford so early in the season, especially if it's a good win, would be very psychologically damaging to United and give City the edge.
What's really exciting about this is it feels again like it's a game that matters, but there was a feeling certainly over the last 3 seasons that it's just not been as explosive. You know, the rhetoric beforehand and after has not been as exciting. And
we knew that it was going to be more intense than it possibly ever has been, just because of those two characters.
And the tactical battle is going to be wicked to watch. It'll be nerves. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be nerves for me. I'll be standing in the crowd, almost crying. It's built up to be probably the best Manchester derby that I've seen since I've been alive.
Anyone who says that they enjoy a derby match is a liar, because it's the most horrific, excruciating 90 minutes of your football watching life.
Think of your big moments in your derbies, you know, your Michael Owen in the last minute, you think of Scholes winning the league at the Etihad in the last minute, you think of them winning a couple of times at Old Trafford as well. So it does have a big impact. It can put a lot of questions up there, even just for the 4th game of the season.